G'day, my name's Mick Lockhart from Parkway Studios, and today I just want to have a talk to you about probably the most common question that I get from an artist, a new up-and-coming artist, or an artist that's been around for a little while that doesn't exactly know the procedure once they come to a studio and they have their music written or they've collaborated a song or something like that, and they want to come to a studio, record their song, record their EP, their single, or a full album. But then what happens? This is the main question I get 99 times out of 100. A lot of artists will sit there and say, what do we do now? So I want to go through a few different options with you guys and explain to you some different ideas. There is no rules here. There's no formula to the music industry. A lot of it's hit and miss. We may think there's a song that is platinum. It's just amazing, right? And it goes nowhere. So everyone sits around scratching their head. And then we'll have a song on an album that, you know, the in-term word here for us here at this studio is there might be a sleeper on an album, which is a song that we're not all moved about as much. And the thing might go number one, or it might start to chart, or all of a sudden you get emails and text messages and Facebook posts saying, we love this song, we love this song. So there is, look, music's a wonderful thing, and there is no set of rules here. However, there is some simple guidelines that everyone needs to realise from day one when you decide, okay, I want to be a musician and I want to be a singer, a songwriter, or any part of musician in the entertainment game, that really do apply here, and it starts right back at the very start. And you're never too late to learn these things, but a lot of people have trouble remembering them. So we want to talk about them today. So number one for me, and it's the most important rule of all time, it's a gentle reminder here that the key element to being successful or getting a start in the industry or getting people to take notice of you is writing or singing or performing great. Be great. Like, don't be good. Be excellent. I watched a video here a little while back of Dave Grohl, and I love Dave Grohl because he just sits there and he cuts through the rubbish, and he says, if you want to be a rock star, then be a rock star. Don't turn up at a rock star gig in a pair of thongs. Like, be glamorous, be amazing, like make people go, wow, that was just huge. And it doesn't matter whether you're doing a $500 or $1,000 pub gig locally, or you're on a main stage at a festival doing a $40,000 or $50,000 show. It doesn't give you the right to disrespect me, the listener, or you guys as the listener. And I'm sure you're all sitting there frustrated when you go and watch potentially really good bands that just are half-cocked. Don't be half-cocked, be amazing, and never ever settle for anything other than being phenomenal. When you do that, your music will be great, and then people will listen to it. And you'll actually demand to them that they have to listen to your song, they have to stream your song, they have to buy your song, and best of all, they have to tell all their friends to listen to this song and buy this song and go and see you. This is the main thing here. It always starts at the song, but never settle for something that's okay. Always push yourself to be better. So that's rule number one, is create great music. So number two, I'm going to dig into this relatively early in this conversation, and because again, independent artists or people that aren't signed, and they're really the guys that I think are probably watching this thing here, is people that don't have a big pocket full of record label money, and they don't have hundreds of people around and specialists in each different field of this thing to just go and do their job and allow you just to do your little component. You guys are expected to know every single component of this, and it's really difficult because you really just want to sing and play, right? So I'm going to jump into this next part straight away, and it's the legal side of things. It gets forgotten all the time, and you see artists that are just not up on the speed of just getting all their paperwork correct. You have to do this stuff really, really early. So what about if you've co-written a song? How does it get distributed? Who gets paid what component? Did you write more of the song? Did you write the music? Did the other person write the lyric? And you know, how does this split up? You have to work out your splits. You've got to do the paperwork side of things. You need to then go to APRA, or you need to go to MCOS, and you need to register your content. You need to sort that sort of thing out very early in the piece. Sometimes you'll come into a studio like this one, independent studio, and you might run a deal with the producer, or you might run a deal with the studio owner and say, right, I want to do what we call an independent record deal, which might be a 50-50 deal or something like that, which is the studio puts up their time, the artist comes in with their songs, and the studio's going to take money from that, put up the time so the artist doesn't actually pay any money. The studio will do all that. They'll take care of all this stuff and put a CD in your hand or an EP in your hand, and then out you go, and you start selling this thing, and then we recoup our money, blah, blah, blah. So you need to go to lawyers, and you need to go to your accountant, you need to sort all this sort of stuff out. A lot of people forget that this is a really, really important part, because we're talking about the music business here. This is actual business and music. So, and you have to know it. You actually have to know it. So take your time, sit down with some friends, sit down with your mum and dad, sit down with your partner and work out the legal side of things. It will cost you some money. There's a lot of advice you can get online nowadays that's free, but it always helps when it comes to business to cover your ass, basically. So do your hunting around, go and see a lawyer and get this stuff squared away. So number 3 is to register your content, okay? Register your song, register your rights. Whatever you've written here and whatever you claim as your own, you need to register it, okay? So in Australia, we have a company called AMCOS. They have a few different royalty schemes set up. They have the performance rights. So that basically means if you go out as a writer and you sing in a live venue, or you sing at a function, or you sing at an awards night, or you sing your live song anywhere in the public, you can then fill out, in layman's terms, a logbook, and you can send it away, and essentially you'll get paid a royalty for your live performance. There's another stream called a communication right, and this is the radio and the television and the film sector. This basically allows your songs to go on the radio and stuff like that. There's another royalty there. Then there's another one, which is a mechanical royalty. So this is the one where you pay, if you're doing a co-write, then you might have to pay a 50% mechanical royalty to the non-performer here to put your own song, which you've actually written, onto a CD. This is distribution through film companies, stuff like that, is also have to pay mechanical royalties. So there's a lot of different things, but cover yourselves there. And as soon as you write your song, get onto the AMCOS website. I'm going to leave the link in the description for you, so you can just click that button. It'll take you straight there. It's a really good website. It's very informative, and you can check all the stuff out from AMCOS, but really sort that side out of it too. And that basically happens the second you put your pen down from writing your song. You've now created something. Go and copyright it, get it protected. So once you're all sorted out here, you might be looking down the barrel of a release date. So how exactly does that happen? Who do you release to? Where do you release it? How do you do it? There's a lot of different factors that come into this, how you're going to do your release, and a lot of people are around to help you here. I mean, even in a recording studio, your producer will have some ideas, and hopefully if you're doing the full producer thing where you're actually confiding in someone to take you on this journey, then of course you're going to get their experience, and you're also going to hopefully get their networks of people and their connections as well, that they can point you in the right direction the second you leave here, and you're kind of going off on your own path with people that are trusted by the people inside their industry, being the producer or your engineer, or whoever you've got, your agent, your promoter, your manager, anyone like that. Those people are going to be connected somehow to the industry. So you want to get those people around. It's like, okay, when do we do this? What do we do? Well, be patient. There's a time code here as well that's very, very crucial, and this is again what people don't think about. It's right in front of your eyes, but they don't look at it, and generally 9 times out of 10 it's too late. The horse has bolted and you've missed your one opportunity. A lot of time as indie artists, you only get one chance, and that's really tough, but these are the odds that are stacked against indie artists. So you have to be really careful, and you've got to map these things out. You've got to be careful when you're going to do these things. If you're going to release a fast song and an up-tempo song and a vibrant song, then you might not want to release that thing when it's cold. you might not want to release that when the mood's down generally of people. So you might stay away from winter. That might be a summer release or a spring release or an autumn release or something where people are getting back out and they're walking along the beach again, because it might connect with them just that little bit more. If you're doing a big heartbreaking song, a big depressing song that's going to resonate hard with people and pull some heartstrings on these guys, then it might be the perfect time, and this is where the business comes into it, to be really thoughtful of your release here and go for the heartstrings. You know, the colder months are perfect because people cuddle up in there that little bit more depressed, they're under a blanket, they're just not their happy, fluent self. I'm not saying that the cold makes you depressed, but there's a bit of a formula here that generally if it's cold, you're down a little anyway, you know. The other prime time here is seasonal, you know. I mean, you go around Christmas time, especially people have lost their loved ones, then the holidays are hard for these people. So the real smart guys in this music game are going to dangle those carrots right in front of your raw emotions, and they're going to capitalise on that. And this is stuff that you really need to think about. So have a target, have a game plan here. When you're about to release your single, think about the single you have, and then actually step away from it and think about when you want to hear that song, that's when you should release it. So how do you distribute your song? There's a lot of different variances now. You can go after a distribution deal through a record label, which is not a bad thing, I don't suppose. Generally, we'll stay away from that one just for this video. But you might look down the barrel of CD Baby, okay? They're a well-known company, they've been around for a million years. They're going to do your Spotify, they're going to do your iTunes, they're going to do your Pandora, they're going to do all your major digital distribution platforms. Take it to CD Baby. For a fee, they're going to put it on, they're going to give you aggregator codes, and all of a sudden your songs are on iTunes and your songs are in the digital world. You're still going to have your CD and you can sell that at your shows because you're an independent artist, and that's the money that goes into your pocket. So there's CD Baby, there's a lot of them, and you can go onto some websites, and again I'll leave some links down below of some different distribution companies here that will help you through this process. And it's not a hard process, you don't have to worry about that. It's just fill in some paperwork and off you go. It's relatively fast. So the next one here that I'm going to touch on, again, we'll probably come back to this one a lot as you go through your career. And this one for me is nearly as important as rule one, where I said create great music. If you have great music and you do this one, then I think you can probably at least stay in the industry longer than most. And this one for me is set achievable goals, reachable goals. If you aim for the stars, that's great. You can still aim for the stars, but it's a big step from here to a star. Make them reachable and just chip away at them one at a time. There's nothing better in this game when you can give yourself a pat in the back and you can put a notch on your own belt to say, yes, I did something. And it doesn't matter, even if you're $1,000 band and you really want to break that next price point, you want to get up to $1,400, $1,800 or $2,000. If you can do really, really well and break into that next barrier, then give yourself a pat in the back, because a lot of people can't make it there. So practice, write great music, set achievable goals, ones that make you want to get out of bed each day and hit your target. You have to be able to hit your target. If you're too far away, it's too hard to do it by yourself. Set reachable goals. So the next one's a tricky one, and this one is some people are better than this naturally than others, because they take to it like a duck to water. And this is your marketing. This is the marketing side of things and the promotion side of things. Some people are just great sitting in front of a camera or sitting on their Facebook or doing their Instagram or doing their Snapchat or doing their YouTube channels. They just have a knack to it. They're just really good at it. So they're all going to have a leg up on you, right? But what you need to do is you need to study these platforms. And they're all different. Facebook is a different monster than Twitter, and it's different to Instagram, and it's different to LinkedIn. And again, the list is this long, and you've got to know them all, and you've got to be competing in them all, which is, again, it's a really, really daunting process. But just do one at a time. Just get one going for you, get one working for you, and then go on to, don't try and do them all at once. It's too difficult. Okay, so just say, okay, I want to do Facebook, and I want to build up my Facebook likes. So get on YouTube, get on Google, get on the website here, and have a look around at really, really smart people that are more than happy to sit down and explain to you some techniques that you can actually do this stuff better. And the best thing about it, a lot of the time it's for free. Facebook promotion is really, really powerful, and you can target your demographic. So take a look at that one. I'm not going to sit here and say spend heaps of money. The guys that really want to compete and really want to be ferocious will spend money in this game. That's not for everyone. But there is avenues here that if you're smart and you step back and you do it slowly and you build slowly over time, like your career, then you can have a really, really solid fundamental platform that's sitting under you at all times. And that is worth money in your pocket. So another one is be more ferocious on the gig line. Go out and gig more. A lot of guys are sitting at home and they're just saying, oh, I'm just going to do festivals, or I'm going to wait for the phone to call. Mind my French, but that's bullshit. That's really lazy, and no one likes people that are lazy. It goes back to rule number one, create good music, but that makes you push, and you have to do it here on the gig front as well. Your live performance is key to your sales. The better you perform, the better you connect with your audience, the better show you put on, the better sound you get. It's all part of what you do. It's like your website. If your website is cheap and garbage, then guess what? When I'm sitting in my lounge room that night and I'm looking at you, then I'm seeing cheap, rubbish website. Guess what I'm thinking your live show is going to be? You got it. Okay, so it all works. There's a formula that is essentially happening here, and it's being about all of these different components of being very good. And you have to sit down and you need to work out one by one at a time. Get one up, get the next one up, get the next one up, get the next one up. But with the live gig thing, be amazing. Do not disrespect your audience ever. Do not take it for granted that you're getting to play in a venue, that the people are coming out and they're dancing and they're drinking to your music and they're having a good time and they're requesting songs. Don't ever take that for granted. Look at the guys that are playing in your band and they're loving it and they're loving you and you're loving them, and it's this cool thing, you know. So be really, really proud that you can get a gig. Look, that's, you know, there's a lot of people out there that I grew up with, hundreds and hundreds of people that sit there and they idolise that I get to play music my entire life, and all they've ever wanted to do is pick up a guitar and go and play and have a pretty girl in the audience wink at them or something like that. You know, it's that whole persona that comes with it. But I know guys that they work with their hands and half of them are missing their fingers because they're out and they're on the tools day after day after day, and they look at someone like us as rock stars. You know, they look at you and they want to be you. So don't disrespect them and don't ever take that for granted. Give them their moment at your gig. Smile at that person. Talk to that person. You can change them. And when you do, they're going to buy your music. So there's another one I want to talk about. And for me, this one actually holds a fair bit of value. So out of all the things we've spoken about at the moment, there's nothing really that I'm saying to you that you need to go dig into your bank account and go and pay someone. This next one is the one I think is the one that actually holds some really good value. Now, do your shopping around here and find and ask the other people where you guys are, who is about and who are the good ones. And everyone knows who the good ones are, but this is your publicist. Okay, these people are specialists at social media. These people are specialists at press releases, setting up radio interviews, and good publicists are worth their weight in gold, as far as I'm concerned, especially with an independent artist. So if you're ever going to let your reins go at one point of what I call a 95 to 5, and 95% is business and 5% is actually playing the music. So the 95% of the business, which allows you, if you get that part right, then it allows you to do your 5%, which is the music, which is 100% of our heart, right? But we've got to do 95% of this other rubbish to make sure that we can actually get to the end of the day and do our 5% of love. So if you're ever going to let a little bit of this go, then I think this part here, the publicist, if you're ever going to spend money, this, for me, this is better than spending money on Facebook. Keep your Facebook money or your Google AdWords or your website promotion money that you're wanting to do and give it to a good publicist, because they are worth valuable time and money and resources and network. So do a little bit of research on publicists. They're around. There's better ones and there's more expensive ones, but find the one that works for you and find the one that you ring up, and you'll know in your gut straight away if that publicist is good for you. And try them out, put them on a trial. Say, look, we're going to try this for a couple of weeks or a month and we'll see how we go. And generally, I think you'll find most publicists are going to be bidding for your work anyway. But there is definitely value in a good publicist. So take a look at that one. So there's only a couple to go here on the list that I'm going to talk about today. And the next one's a bit of fun. A lot of people have a release gig. They might do an EP launch, or they might do an album launch show or something like that. For me, there's another one on top of this as well, and that's turn it into a party. Actually, instead of calling it an album launch or an EP launch or a single launch, why don't you do an album party? Charge people $10 on the door. If you're doing an EP or you're doing a single, charge $10 on the door and organise with your venue that out of that $10, they're going to take $2 or $3 and give everyone a free drink and have some streamers up and have some balloons and a bit of party pies or something. I don't know, wherever you're going to do your gig, but turn it into an actual event that people can go and they're having fun. It's a party. It doesn't have to be a sit down sort of really, really official affair. It can be, and I'm not saying that doesn't work, but it's always a nice thing. If I get invited to a party, I'm pretty much going to go. But I'm just looking at some different avenues here that you don't see all the time, and you don't actually see a record release party or a single party or an EP party. So maybe there's a bit of food for thought. Okay, so the last one is basically it's a summary of the lot. And the main thing here is review this video and review these points. Write them down, go back and write them all down, stick them up on your wall. And then every couple of weeks or every month, sit here and go through this list and work out which one you're falling behind on and bring it up to speed. It's a continual review, okay? And I'll tell you now, if you don't do it, no one is going to. That's the cold hard truth. You're on your own here. There's people around that will help you, but they'll only go as far as you go yourself. Okay, so you have to back yourself. A lot of people forget, and they don't. They actually forget that this is a small business enterprise here. You're actually saying, what's the difference in becoming a singer or performer, coming into a studio, buying a product, and then trying to sell that product? You're no different whether you're starting a small business, whether you're starting a coffee shop, whether you're starting a flower shop, whatever you're doing. This is really no difference. And people that start small businesses, guess what they do? They spend tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars on their small business. And generally, they're on a 4 to 7 year plan. And if they don't meet their marks in 4 to 5 or 6 or 7 years, guess what they do? They go back to the bank and they invest more, especially if they believe in their product. Do you believe in you? If you don't believe in you, how am I ever going to believe in you? You have to believe in your product. You have to believe in yourself. And hard work makes this stuff really easy because you don't have to do anything for it. It just radiates out of you. But you must treat this as a business. A lot of people think they are given a rite of passage, or they deserve it because they can sing a song or they can write a song or they can play a song, or they're a musician. You don't deserve anything. I actually deserve it. I'm the listener. When you go to a venue to watch a band, you're the one that deserves something. You deserve to be entertained. You deserve a good night out. You deserve to sit there with your friends or your family or your partner and look up on the stage and have a wonderful night. So the right is actually mine, not yours. You need to be better. You need to be amazing. You need to be the best you can be. That's the hard, cold truth of it, I'm afraid. If you're amazing, I'll support you. If you're not, I won't. I'll talk to you, but I won't ever support you. You have to be better than you can think you can be. And you got to push. You got to work really, really hard. And it's really tough. But there is people out there that will help you as long as you're doing the most you can. And be honest to yourself. Are you really good enough for this? Then if you are, and the answer to that is yes, and you've watched this whole video through and you're sitting here going, yeah, this is cool, then use this. Use it as a tool and just don't let anything get in your way. Nothing at all. Just be vigilant and be awesome. There you go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of that. I kind of got on my soapbox there a little bit. You know, there's no offence here ever meant to anyone. All as I'm trying to do, and I do it with every artist that I work with, and I've done it with every artist that I've worked with over nearly 25 years now, is I want them to be amazing, because I want to be around amazing people. So me as a support role player, as a guitar player, when I've been out touring, I want to look over at my artist and actually go, wow, I'm so privileged that I'm playing with this person because they're excellent. I just don't want to be putting my hand out at the end of the gig and taking the money and going, yeah, that's cool, man, thanks, and we'll see you next week. I want to have some pride in this thing. And the guys that get to the top, then they're amazing at what they do, but it's an ongoing process. It's every single day. They're relentless on this thing, but they love it. You know, the real good ones, they won't actually tell you this is work. I sit here in this studio and a lot of people say to me, you're so lucky. Absolutely I am. We worked really hard to get this studio and to build this studio. But now I'm sitting here every single day going, this is mine, check this out. How cool is this? I get to do what I love every single day. But I had to work my ass off to get this. And now we're here, yeah, I get to reap the benefits, but you can be the same. You know, a lot of people can go, wow, you're amazing. Well, they don't know that you've practiced for 10, 15, 20 years. They don't know the countless hours that you haven't got enough sleep through a night because you've been up listening, or you've been up practicing, or you've been out in the shed with the boys in the band rehearsing and talking about what you're going to do next, you know. It's an ongoing thing, and that all happens behind the scenes. But I hope you've got some insight out of this video. Please leave some comments below. I would love to hear what you think about this stuff. If you think I've got any of it wrong, please tell me. And if you think I've got it right, again, let me know the parts that you can get out of this, that you got out of this, and hopefully you can use some of this. And please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to do some more of these videos, and thanks a lot and good luck with it.